All right, got a call here for, I guess, some grass that's looking a little bit stressed. You can see the browning on it. Coincidentally, the owner of this house was given our contact information by this house, which this is a client here, which they're following our standard protocol of 8 treatments a year, preventative weed control, preventative insect control. They do have some crabgrass mixed in throughout here, so that's kind of interesting. In this space though, being that it's middle of July, chinch bugs are becoming active. So that would be a good place to start anytime you see these kind of symptoms here. If it's circular shapes, I would usually lean towards checking irrigation, or there's a possibility at least of irrigation. When you just kind of have random kind of mosaic healthy grass mixed in with stressed looking grass, I would always kind of lean towards chinch bugs this time of year. Give it a couple months and it could be chinch bugs or grubs. So either way, coming in here, looking around, I know I found some earlier by my card over there, so I was going to hope to find one immediately through here. Let's see what we get. Nothing there. Let's go over here to the edge. See what we have in this edge space here. Kind of in this margin between healthy grass and grass that's been hit already. And I'm gonna go back over here to my tried and true where I already found them earlier. So chinch bugs like to hang out kind of in the soil interface. When it's dry, they kind of burrow down in the soil even. They're really small, so it takes a second sometimes to find one. And then once you do, you kind of hit almost like a nest, and then they're almost like everywhere. There's one right there. Let's see if I can snag him. All right, he might be on here. There he goes. Don't know if you can see that. So I'm going to kill him to the point where he's not going to be able to move. Okay. So here he is moving, and I can't get that to zoom in. Let's see. Let me zoom it, get some light on it. It's not really going to help much. So either way, these little guys, as you can see, a good identifier is they have little white wings on their back. So they kind of in their middle of life stage, they're going to have almost like X-shaped wings, and then the adults are going to have big white wings that are really easily identifiable. At the youngest life stage, they're really not going to show any at all. I'm sure you can't even see this on the video, but like this ground's slightly moving from their activity in the soil. I'm going to try to flick this guy out a little bit. There he is. Here's another one. Probably not doing a great job with the camera. There he is. Moving around. So, either way, that is chinch bugs on St. Augustine. Generally speaking, we see their activity. I'll get a first call about it sometime in early July, and then they'll stay active all the way through the first hard freeze. I mean, sometimes that could be even December. In theory, they can be on zoysia grass. However, I have only ever seen them on St. Augustine, and it is something like this where you can have this brown space. Sometimes it moves slow. Other times people will say, hey, I was here on Monday, we left town and we came back a week and a half later and our whole yard was dead. So I don't know. I've never really been able to tack down a firm timeline or schedule in terms of how quickly they move out, but that's what I've seen is just you see these kind of mosaic-ish color to it, shape to it, and it just kind of slowly expands over time. In terms of treatment, it's a difficult one to treat. I would always recommend treating immediately with a contact insecticide as well as a systemic. That way it'll catch anything currently alive, and then anything that does hatch over the next month or so, it'll catch that with a systemic. I would also recommend following up a week later with another round of systemic to catch anything that did hatch and is still somehow surviving. With that being said too, contrary to as opposed to grubs, where grubs are feeding on the root system of the plant, but they're not actually killing the plant, they're just feeding on the root system, which can then kill the plant. Chinch bugs feed on the plant, they're toxic, their saliva is toxic, and because their saliva is toxic, it ends up killing the grass. So giving a timeline on recovery of this is very difficult. I would never want to tell a client, hey, expect this, don't expect this. It's really one of those things where you just have to see how it progresses over the next few months to be able to say for sure. It's certainly something where the grass can not look too hot going into dormancy, and then it ends up being okay in the spring. There's other times where it's like, hey, maybe it kind of recovered, and then it just never comes around in spring. So I would always tell people to at least somewhat plan to have to resod this. But other than that, that's kind of the synopsis of chinch bugs. We'll check in on a few more as the summer goes.